And next tonight, the international mystery. North Korean leader Kim Jong Un has not been seen in 2 weeks. At the same time, speculation grows over his health.
Well, look at what we have here. As soon as we get word that the coronavirus is clearing up in some countries and people are going to be able to go back to a normal life, Kim Jong Un might have died. Now, some people might think this is great, but this could be the political shift that North Korea needs to get the balls to go to war with someone. So having that Cabbage Patch doll bite the dust might be the worst thing that could happen to the world and could mean that evil is waiting for us in May. So far, we've had a major disaster in every month, so why stop now? But the question as to whether or not he is actually dead is still up in the air. On today's Life's Biggest Questions, we are going to be asking the question, is Kim Jong Un alive? I'm your host, Che Dorena, and without taking any longer, let's get into it. Well, let's start off with a look at what the hell is going on. If you aren't someone who likes to look at the news or memes, then you might have no idea what's going on. And this isn't me taking a shot at you. I saw the memes about this before I heard anything official. Most of my information about global events comes from when a really good meme account makes great memes about it. Well, how did this start? For the past few years, word has leaked out that Kim Jong Un has had many medical problems, mostly regarding his weight and his heart, which is crazy because I thought he was supposed to be an immortal god, but he looks like he can't run the beep test. Well, for a while, people simply saw this as something to keep an eye on, since the young dictator was only 36 and he most likely wouldn't drop dead from a heart attack. Then 2 weeks ago, the absence of Kim Jong Un was national news in North Korea, as he did not make an appearance at North Korea's biggest holiday known as Army Day. Well, that sounds like a super fun time. I'm sure flying into North Korea for Army Day would be just as much fun as going to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Well, this caught everyone's attention but didn't send the country into a tailspin until he missed a couple more events and it came to the public's attention that their once glorious leader has not shown his face for 2 weeks. Now, Kim Jong Un not coming to Army Day was massive because this is the biggest holiday in North Korea that honors the founder of North Korea, Kim Il-sung, who is Kim Jong Un's grandfather. That would be like not going to your parents' funeral when the whole world is watching. This is of course not good that you can't find him anywhere because he is running the country and should be easy to get a hold of. You can't ghost a whole country, Kim Jong Un. North Korea isn't someone you just met on Tinder. Once people realized how long he had been gone, information started to surface about where he could possibly be. The news outlet Reuters published an article claiming that a team of Chinese doctors were prepared for Kim's heart surgery and then flown into the country without anyone knowing, but the info leaked via a big-time news reporter in China. Well, I think it's safe to say that's the last time we're going to be hearing from that reporter. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if a missile flew into my home halfway through me making this video, or if the whole North Korean government was listening to me record this. How do you say spare me in North Korean? Once information had leaked out to the public about his major surgery and no one had heard from him in 2 weeks, well, people started to run with the stories. It was right at that moment that you saw every news outlet starting to ask the question as to whether or not he was actually alive. Because this is a very strange move for anyone who would be a world leader. If you want your people to think that you're safe and secure after someone cuts into your chest and tries to piece your heart back together like Humpty Dumpty, you gotta walk out into the public and tell them that it went great and thank all the Chinese doctors for saving your life. Like, think about when Donald Trump got tested for coronavirus. If he was gone for 2 weeks and no one had heard anything from him, people would be like, oh, this is super suspicious, especially because he tweets every day. Now, there are some very obvious alternatives to him being dead. There could have been some complications with his surgery, which are stopping him from being able to address the public, but he's still alive. He might just need a little more time to recover before he is ready to face the people because he doesn't want to look weak. And don't forget, we're in the middle of COVID-19. When you come out of surgery and you're in a weakened state, the last thing you want to happen is contracting a virus that is wreaking havoc on everyone that has a compromised immune system. So his lack of contact with the outside world could simply be a proper quarantine procedure that the country is following to ensure Kim doesn't get sick. There is also the very obvious truth that if he was dead, only a very small group of people would know, and all the rumors of his death have come from outside sources. No one close to the North Korean leader or anyone part of the North Korean government has made any sort of statement or leaked any sort of information. The intel that is gained from North Korea is so minimal, it's very hard to trust anything that we read in newspapers about the country because we have no idea what is going on over there. This obviously makes things a lot more complicated. I don't know if you remember when Fidel Castro, the former leader of Cuba, got sick, but it made national headlines for a long time, especially because his brother came in and started taking control of the government, but the official word was that Castro was still alive. It wasn't until years later that we learned that Castro was dead when there was an official statement given out by the Cuban government. A lot of people speculate that he was actually dead from the time he stopped being in the public eye. The Cuban government just didn't tell anyone because they didn't know what kind of effect it would have on their people, and they didn't know where they would stand on the global stage. The same thing could be happening in North Korea right now. Kim could be dead, but the government is just so good at keeping all their secrets wrapped up like the center of a Tootsie Pop. They could just tell us that he's alive when he's actually dead and keep everything running as business as usual. But it would most likely be his sister who took control of the country, and she has been getting called up to the big leagues for a while. She has been going to major events with Kim or in his place. At the Olympics, it was her, not him, who went to represent the country. Some people think that this is more evidence that Kim was in poor health. Did he not go because he did not like the Olympics, or was it because he was too sick and physically weak to get on a plane and fly over there, so he sent his sister to represent him and to prep her for what it's like to be a world leader? Now, if we can't trust the information that North Korea is providing us, then how can we know if they're lying about his whereabouts? Well, through some satellite images, we can pick up some changes that have happened in the country. Like, say, if we saw his personal bodyguard parked outside of a hospital, that would most likely mean Kim is in there. And through this information, a couple very interesting things have been seen over the past couple weeks. His personal transport train has been parked outside his compound for almost 2 weeks and hasn't moved. This could mean that Kim is planning on going somewhere soon, or that his body needs to be moved. There was also a large medical clinic on the compound that was torn down back in February and built up in April, leading the public to believe that the heart surgery had been planned for a long time and wasn't an emergency job like a heart attack. And just like any major political event that would shape the world as we know it, there has been a lot of talk about possible conspiracy theories surrounding what could have happened. Some people think that Kim is dead and his sister has been arrested, and his brother, who is a mole working for the Chinese government, is now calling the shots in North Korea. The reason that there hasn't been any announcement to Kim's death is because China has one of the world's nations that has the most nuclear arms under their thumb, and they're using this as a tool to strike some sort of deal with the US. North Korea has now become a pawn for two major countries to set the terms of what the future will look like. If this is true, I think I'm just gonna go live in a small shack in the middle of nowhere and hunt wild animals and forget about the rest of the world, because this stuff stresses me out way too much. Now, with everything we just said, the South Korean officials have reported that they've had contact with Kim Jong Un and have said that he is alive and well, and there's nothing to worry about when it comes to the leader of North Korea. He will be out in the public very soon. They stated that he had undergone surgery and is currently in the resort town Wonsung and is recovering. He is just taking a nice vacation to get back on his feet, and he will be threatening the world with nuclear arms in no time. So after I've gone through all the data and broken everything down, let's get to the question of if Kim Jong Un is alive. And my final verdict is I have no freaking clue. This story has so many twists and turns, and we're talking about the most secretive country in the world. The CIA probably doesn't know if he's alive or dead right now. What makes you think that I know? I do think that if he wanted to stop all these rumors, he could do this very easily by showing his face for 2 seconds and everyone would be put at ease. But who knows how beat up this guy looks right now and how bad his surgery went. So if you put a gun to my head and you say, you gotta choose, is this guy alive or dead? I'm gonna say that this guy's dead. There's too much going against him and the memes are so fiery and I really don't want them to stop. Does that make me a bad person? I mean, he's a dictator, right? I'm allowed to take pleasure in those memes. All right, everyone, that is all we have for you today on Life's Biggest Questions. As always, guys, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I am your host, Jay Dorena, and I'm here to answer all your questions.